Messages, to-do messages. In this video, you will learn how to create a to-do message, complete a to-do message, and manage assigned to-do tasks. As mentioned in our composing and responding to a message video, one type of user message is a to-do message. In addition to the standard fields such as priority, recipient, reference patient, etc., the due and days and action fields will append a tracking box both in the sender's outbox and in the recipient's inbox. To-do messages may be sent to another user, multiple users, or even yourself. Let's look at how to compose a to-do message. You'll see that I'm logged in here as Amy Fowler, and I have begun to compose a message. Although to-do tasks can be assigned to one or more users, I'm going to assign this first task to myself. We'll also look at an example of sending a to-do message to another user later in the video. Let's say Mitchell Lightning has scheduled an appointment, and he's Dr. Cooper's future son-in-law. I want to follow up before his actual appointment to make sure everything's complete, to verify his insurance, get authorization, or whatever else is required. There can be a variety of scenarios requiring to-do messages within the practice. Since I'm sending this task to myself, I don't need an urgent alert, so I'm leaving it flagged as normal. I've referenced the patient and specified the action. Let's say that today is Wednesday and Mitchell's appointment is next Tuesday. So I'm going to require to have it completed within 2 days. Note that this is the same process whether you're assigning it to yourself or to another user. As with all messages, the subject and message are free text, so you can enter whatever the scenario dictates. In my case, I'm going to remind myself this is Dr. Cooper's future son-in-law and the date of the appointment. You'll notice I've also chosen to add to patient medical record. As we discussed previously in the composing a message video, this option is available whenever referencing a patient. If you do not select this checkbox, there will be no record of the to-do task at the patient level. Now that I have composed my to-do message, I will click Send and send the task to myself. When it comes to working to-do messages, there are two options. The system automatically attaches a Done checkbox field, enabling tracking, and you'll see this both in the sender's outbox as well as the recipient's inbox. When working a personal to-do task, the message will be in your own inbox, which keeps it in front of you until you complete the task. When assigning a task to someone else, however, you may prefer not to clutter your inbox unnecessarily with a copy, so it can be monitored from your outbox. This is, of course, a personal preference based on local workflow. If the recipient is required to send a reply to a message when completing the task, you will receive a new message with that reply in your inbox, so there's no need to track it from the outbox. In our Messages Overview and Inbox video, we discussed the various filters which allow you to sort your messages by type. For example, we can filter it by to-do tasks. You'll recall too that the unread messages remain visible towards the top of your inbox and display in bold font, which is a convenient way to monitor them. Unlike regular messages, to-do tasks include a due date and a done checkbox, so they're easily distinguished from others. You'll notice here that this task has not been completed and remains in bold font. If I hover my mouse over the subject, the tooltip provides additional text. You can review your to-do messages right here in your inbox and select Done to mark it completed. By doing this, it is no longer bold and moves it lower in your inbox. You are also able to read the message and add a note to save it to the patient's document list. As with all user messages, you also have the option to forward or reply. However, these options are typically not applicable to personal tasks. In the case of to-do tasks assigned to other users, as we see here in Adam's inbox, recipients have the same choices as we just discussed. Typically, however, most practices have a workflow that requires the recipient to send a reply to the one who assigned the task, so that person is aware that the task is completed. Now, this is not a requirement, of course, because the sender has a record in his or her outbox. In this case, however, the user has the option of marking the task as done with or without sending a reply. Let's look at monitoring to-do messages in your Outbox. As we learned in the Composing and Responding video, PrognoCIS automatically saves a copy of any user message to the sender's Outbox. This is true with to-do messages as well. In the cases where you don't want to send a copy to yourself and want to follow up on those tasks you've assigned to others, you can monitor them from your Outbox. We see that here in the case of Connor Walsh. This functionality is always available, even if you require your staff to send a reply when they are completing their tasks. You'll notice if we look to the right, as mentioned earlier in this video, messages that were sent as to-do tasks are identified with the presence of a due date and a done checkbox. When the user to whom the task was assigned completes it and marks it as done, the system will automatically refresh the sender's Outbox and display a check mark as applicable. In cases where the task has not yet been flagged as done by the user, the checkbox will display empty. In cases where there is no checkbox at all, that indicates a standard message and not a to-do task. You will also notice that sometimes the due date shows in red font. This is an indication that the task is overdue, meaning the recipient has not flagged it as done before the due-in days. When multiple recipients are assigned in the same to-do message, when at least one of those recipients marks the task as done, PrognoCIS refreshes the Done column for the message in the inbox of all of the users involved. It also automatically updates the Outbox of the sender accordingly. We can see this here in the case of our office manager, Adam, who sent a to-do message to multiple people, including Dr. Cooper, Amy, Connor, and Gabby. Amy is the one who actually completed the task and flagged it as done. We see here in Adam's Outbox that all the recipients of the to-do message have been notified. And if we log into the others' inboxes, such as Dr. Cooper's, we see the Done column has been refreshed to show the check mark indicating it has been completed. In this way, multiple people will not try to resolve the same task at the same time, and everyone is kept informed. Let's review. In this video, you learned how to create a to-do message, complete a to-do message, and manage assigned to-do messages. That concludes this video within the series. Please click the appropriate link below for your next step. If you'd like to take a quiz, you'll receive your results in real time directly on the screen so that you can see how well you've done. If you answer incorrectly, the system will prompt you with the correct response. In addition, a confidential email will be sent to the education team to help us better serve you with our educational offerings. Second, watch the next video within this series that you are currently in. And finally, return to the video library main page. As always, feel free to contact us through the Resource Center or email us with any additional questions or comments.